Hello friends, Romans, countrymen, lovers, Trekkies, whatever you call Star Wars fans. Welcome to episode 7 of Inside the Triple Llama. I'm so glad you're here. A couple weeks ago, I was talking about Inside the Triple Llama on a Zoom call with a friend, and she said, you know what would be really interesting is an episode where you talked about everything that you do before you start recording. And so that, friends, is exactly what we're going to do. Be back in a second. Fix the verse just in time. Reverb at 4 or 5. Gotta wrap the new mix by 8 a.m. Drums burst, then the guitar. The wordsmith's working hard to record the best art we can for you. Well, you know what I've been told. You need a full band to run this show. And I can't do this all on my own, but I kinda do, and I'll show you how at the Triple Llama. I can't write a song. Welcome back, cats and kittens. So we've selected our drum track, we know what tempo it's going to be. Now, before we start laying down tracks, we've got to learn what to play. On a recent episode of Triple Llama, I made reference to what I called a chord map. It shows the guitar chords, the lyrics, but also gives me directions for essentially every instrument that I'm playing. I'm going to use a guitar tablature or chord repository. Most of the time, it's going to end up being 911 tabs or Ultimate Guitar. But let's say that I wanted to cover Long Way Back Home by the Barenaked Ladies, which, hey, I did. Like most files of this type, we have the chords used up here at the top, little handy diagram showing us how to play them in case they are chords we don't happen to know. You do actually need this sometimes. For example, Anything by Jonathan Coulton. We have some chords, but are they correct? We're going to find out. Pack up and leave again. Together alone. You without me again. For the first time I knew what to do. That is actually right. So we're going to copy and paste this then, and then throw it in a new Word document. Slight problem though, which is formatting, because when we copy and pasted it, the chords went wherever they wanted. So we're going to manually move this chord on the word home, but it turns out we also have to move the lyrics because this chord happens in between the words home and to. So we're going to move that a little bit, move that out a little more, and move the C add 9 over leave. This gets a little more complicated when we are dealing with guitar tablature. When we try and copy and paste that, we get something like this. Obviously this part is hard to read, but this, that's just a mess, because all this should be even. I have to manually shift everything over. Earlier this month, I recorded a song called America by the band Kay's Choice. It was a custom project for Angela Brett. I had to actually make 2 separate chord maps. That song is in the key of B flat minor, which if you're a better guitarist than I am, you might be able to play that without a problem, but I can't. If I'm changing the chords for the acoustic to be on capo 1, that means that when I go to do the bass track and the electric guitar track, the chords are going to be wrong. I need to make a separate chord map. This is a reminder to me when I'm recording it. The BPM is 116, and then I should be on capo 1. It gets too confusing if you try and do two entirely different sets of chords that are happening simultaneously on the same map. There are some exceptions to that, and one I can think of is the 80s cartoon medley that I did for Graham back in October 2020. During the Inspector Gadget section toward the end, the guitar and the bass are going off the same tab. You can see here, I've put the guitar part in red because otherwise when I'm recording it, there's no way I'm going to remember that the guitar should only be playing that part. In this particular case, it would have made no sense to do this separately. I color code things a lot. I will put the harmony in a different color in parentheses. If there are multiple harmonies happening, I will sometimes have, 2, 3 different colors and different placements. For that same song, the 80s medley, I've got notes all over the chord map. This note, for example, tells me what to do with this guitar slide on the electric in the beginning. I've got some lyrics here. Then I have this note. After one time through that, by which I mean these lyrics, drums intensify, and then second guitar vamps on B flat, vocals keep going. Sometimes I have timestamps for stuff like this, like it'll say at 34 seconds, drums intensify. Sometimes I can't do that because I am using a different tempo from the original song, and so it won't match up. The song for November, as it turns out, is Eric Clapton's Let It Rain. There's a lot of guitar in that. Who knew? You can see we've got 3 different guitars playing completely different parts in the intro, and in most cases that's pretty much it. I will practice the song until I am reasonably confident that I know it and can play it uninterrupted, and then we start recording. A Square Guy shout out in particular to Colleen Kennedy and Brandy Murphy, both of whom have their Patreon anniversaries this month, and a thank you to all of you, Cameron Wordsmith patrons, for helping make this episode and this series possible, and for supporting all of the work that we do. Friends, our time may be at an end, but do not despair, because we will be back when you least expect it. We will be back long after you've forgotten that we threatened to be back.